No phone calls, no texts, that sort of thing. If you must, please leave the auditorium. With that being said, those are our housekeeping items for the evening. Thank you so much again for being here, and enjoy the show. I made the first mistake of the evening, so the actors don't have to worry about it. My job is done, I hope.
The baby was discovered in a waste paper basket with the umbilical cord knotted around its neck. The mother was found unconscious near the door to her room, suffering from excessive loss of blood. She was indicted for manslaughter and brought to trial. Her case was assigned to me, Dr. Martha Livingston, as court psychiatrist to determine whether she was legally sane. I wanted to help this young woman believe.
Dr. Livingston, I presume? I'm Mother Miriam Root, in charge of the convent where Sister Agnes is staying. How do you do? You needn't call me Mother if you don't wish. Most people find it uncomfortable. Well, I'm afraid the word brings up the most unpleasant connotations in this day and age.
Yes.
Or it forces a familiarity most people are not willing to accept right off the bat.
I see.
So you may call me Sister. I brought Sister Agnes for her appointment. They're allowing her to stay at the convent until the trial.
Yes,
And I wanted to offer my help.
well, thank you, sister. But I haven't even met Sister Agnes yet. If there's anything unclear after I've spoken to her, I'd be
You must
happy
have
to help
tons
you.
of questions.
Yes, I do, but I'd like to ask them of Agnes.
Oh, she can't help you there.
What do you mean?
She's blocked it out, forgotten it. I'm the only one who can answer those questions.
Well, how well do you know her?
Oh, I know Sister Agnes quite well. You see, we are a contemplative order, not a teaching one. Our ranks are quite small. I was chosen to be Mother Superior about 4 years ago, just prior to Agnes coming to us. So, I feel I am more than qualified to answer any questions you may have. Would you mind not smoking?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I should have asked if it bothered you.
Never offer an alcoholic a drink, isn't that what they say?
You were a smoker?
2 packs a day. lucky strikes. My sister used to say, one of the few things you can believe in this crazy world is the honesty of unfiltered cigarette smokers.
You have a smart sister.
And you have questions.
I know it. Who knew about Agnes's pregnancy?
No,
How did she hide it from the other nuns?
she undressed alone, she bathed alone.
Is that normal?
Yes.
How did she hide it during the day?
Could have been the machine gun in here if she wanted.
And she had no physical examination during this time?
We're examined once a year. Her pregnancy fell in between our doctor's visits.
Who found the baby?
I did. I had given Sister Agnes permission to retire early that evening. She wasn't feeling very well. I went to her room a short
The
while.
nuns have separate rooms.
Yes. I found her unconscious by the door. I tried to revive her, and when I couldn't, I had one of the other sisters called for an ambulance. It was then that I found the waste paper basket.
Found.
It was hidden against the wall under the bed.
Why did you think to look there?
I was clean. There was a lot of blood.
Were you alone when you found it?
No, another sister, Sister Margaret, was with me. It was she who called the police.
Did you find a diary or letters?
I don't understand.
Something to clue you in on the identity of the father?
Oh, I see. No, I found nothing.
Well, who could it have been?
I haven't a clue.
Well, what men had access to her?
None, as far as I know.
Was there a doctor?
Yes.
A man?
Yes, but I told you she hadn't seen.
Was there a priest?
Yes, but I don't.
What's his name?
Father Marshall. But I don't see him as a candidate. He's very shy.
Could there have been anyone else?
Obviously there was.
Well, then why didn't you care to find out who?
Believe me, I cared very much at the time. I did everything short of asking Agnes. but-
Why didn't you ask her?
If she doesn't even remember the birth, do you think that she would admit to the conception? Besides, I don't see that that has anything to do with her.
Come on, sister.
The important fact is, somebody gave her that baby, doctor, that much we know. But that happened some 12 months ago. I fail to see why the identity of that somebody has anything to do with the trial.
Why do you think that?
Don't ask me those questions, dear. I'm not the patient.
But I'm the doctor. I'm the one who decides what is or is not important here.
Yes.
So why are you avoiding my question?
I'm not
Who
avoiding.
was the father?
I don't know.
I'd like to see her now, please.
Doctor, I don't know how to say this politely, but I don't approve of you. Oh, not you personally.
The science of psychiatry.
Yes. I want to ask you to deal as quickly and easily with Agnes as possible. She's very fragile. She will not hold up under any sort of cross-examination.
Sister, I'm not in a position.
And I'm not from the Middle Ages. I know what you are. You're a surgeon. I don't want that mind cut open.
Why? Is there something in there you don't want me to see?
I want you to be careful, that's all.
And quick?
Yes.
Why?
Because Agnes is different
From other nuns? Yes, I can see that.
from other people. She is special.
In what way?
She's gifted. She's blessed.
What do you mean?
There. She has the voice of an angel.
Does she often sing when she's alone?
Always. She's embarrassed to sing in front of others.
Who taught her?
I don't know. When I first heard her sing, I was thrilled. But I couldn't connect that voice with the simple, happy child I knew. And she was happy, Doctor. But that voice belongs to someone else.
I'd like to see her now.
You will be careful.
I'm always careful, sister. May I stay? I'll sit her. There was a lynching mob that came before a judge who accused them of hanging a man without a fair and objective trial. Oh, Your Honor, the leader said, we listened very fairly and objectively to every word he had to say. Then we hung my objectivity. But Mother Miriam wouldn't believe that. Oh, she couldn't have known about Marie, but she must have suspected something. Marie was my younger sister who decided she had a vocation to the convent when she was 15. So my mother sent her off without a second thought, and I never saw her again. I received a message late one night that Marie had died of acute and unattended appendicitis because her Mother Superior wouldn't send her to a hospital. Well, no, I guess I couldn't at heart be very fair and objective then, could I? But I tried. I remember waiting to view Marie's body in a little convent room and staring at those spotless walls and floors and thinking, my God, what a metaphor for their minds. And that's when I realized that my religion, my Christ, is this, the mind. Everything that I do not understand in this world is contained in these few cubic inches. Beneath this shell of skin and bone and blood, I have the secret to absolutely everything. I look at a tree and I think, isn't it wonderful that I've created something so green? God isn't out there. He's in here. God is you. Or rather, you are God. Mother Miriam couldn't understand that, of course. She reminded me so much of my own mother. And, well, as for Agnes, hello, I'm Dr. Livingston. I came asked to talk to you, may I?
Yes.
You have a lovely voice.
No, I don't.
I just heard you.
That wasn't me.
Oh, was it my receptionist? You saw her, didn't you? The tall woman with purple hair, looks like an ostrich. Well, that's not a very nice thing to say, but she kind of does, doesn't she?
Yes.
You're very pretty, Agnes.
No, I'm not.
Well, hasn't anyone ever told you that before?
I don't know.
Well, I'm telling you now. You're very pretty and you have a lovely voice.
Let's talk about something else.
Well, what would you like to talk about?
I don't know.
Well, anything. First thing that comes to your mind.
God. There's nothing to say about God.
Second thing that comes to your mind.
Love?
Why love?
I don't know.
Well, have you ever loved someone, Agnes?
God.
I mean, have you ever loved another human?
Yes.
Well, who's that?
Everyone.
Well, who in particular?
Right now.
Yes.
I love you.
But have you ever loved a man other than Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Who is that?
Oh, there are so many.
Well, do you love Father Marshall?
Yes.
Do you think he loves you?
I know he does.
He's told you that.
No. But when I look into his eyes, I can see.
You've been alone together?
Yes.
Often?
At least once a week.
Where do you meet?
In the confessional.
I see. Well, do you ever meet outside the confessional, or do
You want to talk about the baby, don't you?
well, would you like to talk about
I never saw any baby. I think they made it up.
Who?
The police.
Well, why should they?
I don't know.
Well, do you remember the night they said it came?
No. I was sick.
How were you feeling?
Something I ate.
Did it hurt?
Yes.
Well, what did you do?
I went to my room.
What happened there? In the middle of all that pain.
Yes?
But where did the baby come from?
What baby?
The baby they made up.
From their heads.
Well, is that where they say it came from?
No, they say it came from the waste paper basket.
But where did it come from before that?
From God.
After God, before the waste paper basket.
I don't understand.
How are babies born?
Well, don't you know?
Oh, yes, I think I do, but I want you
Well, I
to
don't
tell
know
me.
what you're talking about. You want to talk about the baby. Everybody wants to talk about the baby, but I never saw the baby, so I can't talk about the baby because I don't believe in the baby.
But let's talk about something else.
No! I've been talking for weeks. Nobody believes me when I say anything. Nobody listens to me.
I will listen to you. That's my job.
I don't want to answer any more questions.
Well, then how would you like to ask them?
What do you mean?
Well, just like that. You ask and I'll answer.
Anything.
Anything.
What's your real name?
Martha Louise Livingston.
Are you married?
No.
Would you like to be?
Not at the moment, no.
Do you have children?
No.
Would you like some?
I can't have them anymore.
Why?
Well, I've stopped menstruating.
Why do you smoke?
Does it bother you?
No questions.
Smoking is an obsession with me. I started smoking when my mother died. She was an obsession too. I suppose I will stop smoking when I find something else to become obsessed with. Bet you're sorry you asked. Any more questions?
One.
What's that?
Where do you think babies come from?
Well, from their mothers and fathers, of course. Before that, I don't know.
Well, I think they come from when an angel lights on their mother's chest and whispers into her ear. That makes good babies start to grow. And bad babies come from when a fallen angel squeezes in down there and grows until it comes out down there. Well, I don't know where good babies come out. And you can't really tell the difference except for bad babies cry a lot and make their fathers go away, and their mothers get very ill and die sometimes. Oh, Mommy wasn't very happy when she died, and I think she went to hell, because every time I see her, she looks as though she stepped out of a hot shower, and I can never tell if it's her or the lady who tells me things. Oh, the lady I first saw when I was 10. I was lying on the grass, looking at the sun, and the sun became a cloud, and the cloud became the lady, and she said she would talk to me, but then I saw that there was blood on her feet and holes in her hands and on her side, and I tried to catch the blood as it fell from the sky, but then I couldn't see because my eyes hurt and there were big black spots in front of them, and she tells me things, like right now she's crying, Marie! Marie!
is not crazy, nor is she lying.
But how can she have a child and know nothing of sex and birth?
Because she's an innocent. She's a slate that hasn't been touched except by God. There is no place for those facts in her mind.
No bullshit.
In her case, it isn't. Her mother kept her home almost all the time. She's had very little schooling.
I don't know how her mother avoided the authorities, but she did.
When her mother died, Agnes came to us. She's never been out there, Doctor. She's never seen a television show or a movie. She's never read a book.
If you believe she's so innocent, how could she murder a child?
She didn't. This is manslaughter, not murder. She did not consciously kill that baby. I don't know what you call it, what kind of psychological, medical jargon you people use. But she was not conscious at the time. That's why she's innocent. She honestly doesn't remember. She lost a lot of blood. She was unconscious by the time I found her.
You expect me to believe that she killed that baby, hid the wastepaper basket, and then crawled to the door, all in some sort of mystical trance?
I don't care what you believe. You're a psychiatrist, not a jury. You're not determining her guilt.
Was there ever any question of that?
What do you mean?
Could someone else have murdered that child?
Not in the eyes of the police.
And in your eyes?
I've told you what I believe.
That she was unconscious at the time, yes, so someone else could have easily come into her room and
You
done it.
honestly think that's what
Well, it's
happened?
possible, isn't it? Who? I don't know. Perhaps one of the other nuns. She found out about the baby and wanted to avoid a scandal.
That's absurd.
That possibility never occurred to you.
No one knew about Agnes's pregnancy, Doctor. No one. Not even Agnes.
When did you first learn of this innocence of hers, about the way she thinks?
Shortly after she came to us.
And you weren't shocked.
I was appalled, just as you are now. You'll get used to it.
What happened?
She stopped eating completely.
This was before her pregnancy.
Almost 2 years before.
Well, how long did it continue?
I don't know. I think it was about 2 weeks before it was reported to me. She was brought before me. Sounds like a tribunal, doesn't it? And when we were alone, she confessed. Well, she said she'd been commanded by God. He spoke to you himself,
No.
through someone else.
Yes.
Who?
I can't say.
Why?
He punished me.
One of the sisters?
No.
Who? Why would she tell you to do this?
I don't know.
Why do you think?
Because I'm getting fat.
For heaven's
I
sake.
am. There's too much flesh on me.
Agnes,
I'm a blimp.
why does it matter whether you're fat or not? You needn't worry about being attractive here.
I do. I have to be attracted to God.
He loves you as you are.
No, he doesn't. He hates fat people.
Who told you this?
It's a sin to be fat.
Why?
Well, look at all the statues. They're thin
Agnes.
because they're suffering. Suffering is beautiful. I want to be beautiful.
Who tells you these things?
Christ says in the Bible, he says, suffer the little children, for thus is the kingdom of heaven.
That's not
I
what
want
he
to
meant.
suffer like a little child. I am a little child, but my body keeps getting bigger, and I don't want it to, because if I get too big, I won't be able to fit. I won't be able to squeeze into heaven.
Agnes, your heaven is not a place
I
of
mean,
bars.
look at me! I've got to
my
lose
dear
weight!
child.
I'm a blimp, I'm too fat! God blew up the Hindenburg, he'll blow me up, that's what she said. Mommy, she says I'll get bigger and bigger until one day I'll pop. But if I stay little, that won't happen.
Your mother told you this. Agnes, dear, your mother is dead.
But she watches, she listens.
Nonsense. I'm your mother now, and I want you to eat.
I'm not hungry.
But you must eat something, Agnes.
No, I don't. The host is enough.
My dear, I do not think the communion waiver has the recommended daily allowance of anything.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes, of God.
What does that word mean? To God.
Begot? You don't know.
That God's my Father?
6 ounces. Come here. Oh, now what's wrong?
I'm being punished.
For what?
I don't know.
How? What happened? Oh, dear Jesus. Oh, dear Jesus.
It started this morning and I can't get it to stop. Why me, Mother? Why me?
How long did it last?
It was gone the following morning.
Did it ever come back?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Why did you send her to a doctor?
I didn't see the need. She started eating again, and I felt that I was...
Thought that's all there was to it. Get some food down her throat, she's all better.
Of course not. Look, I know what you're thinking. She's an hysteric, pure and simple.
It's not simple, no.
I saw it clean through the palm of her hand. You think hysteria did that?
It's been doing it for centuries. She's not unique, you know. She's just another victim.
Yes, God's victim. That's her innocence. She belongs to God.
And I need to take her away from him. That's what we fear, isn't it?
That I do.
But I prefer to look upon it as opening her mind to the world, to herself, so she can begin to heal.
But that's not your job, is it? You're here to diagnose, not to heal.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
The judge's opinion.
Your opinion. I'm here to help her in whatever way I see fit. That's my duty as a doctor.
But not as an employee of the court. You're to make a decision on her sanity as quickly as possible and not interfere with due process and law. Those are the judge's words, not mine.
As quickly as I see fit, not as possible. I haven't made that decision yet.
But the kindest thing you can do for Agnes is to make that decision and let her go.
Back to court?
Yes.
And what then? If I say she's crazy, she goes to an institution. If I say she's sane, she goes to prison.
Temporary insanity then.
Oh yes, I can in all good conscience say that a child who sees bleeding women at the age of 10 and then 11 years later strangles a baby is temporarily insane. No, Mother, this case is a little more complicated than that.
The longer you take to make this decision, the more difficult it will be for Agnes.
Why?
Because the world is a very damaging experience for someone who hasn't seen it for 21 years.
And you think the sooner she's in prison, the better off she'll be?
I'm hoping that whatever her sentence, the judge will allow her to return to the convent and serve her time in penance there.
Well, we'll see about that.
You wouldn't allow her to return to the convent.
I wouldn't send her back to the source of her problem, no.
Your decision has nothing to do with where Agnes serves her sentence.
My recommendation has everything to do with everything.
Then you'd send her to prison?
Yes, if I felt she were guilty of a premeditated crime, I would.
Or an asylum?
If I felt it would help her.
And kill her.
I doubt that.
I am fighting for this woman's life, not her temporal innocence.
Were you fighting for her life when you didn't even send her to a medical doctor?
What?
She had a hole in the palm of her hand. She could have bled to death, and you wouldn't send her to a hospital. That child could have died all because of some stupid
But she
idea.
didn't die, did she? If anyone else had seen what I had seen, she'd be public property right. Newspapers, psychiatrists, ridiculed. She doesn't deserve that.
Well, she has it now.
Yes, she does.
Oh, we would get into terrible arguments, my mother and I. Once when I was 12 or 13, I told her that God was a moronic fairy tale. I think I spent an entire night putting those words together, and she said, "How dare you speak that way to me?" As if she were the slandered party. And shortly after Marie died, I became engaged for a very short time to a very romantic Frenchman whom my mother despised and whom consequently I adored. Well, we screamed ourselves hoarse many a night over that man. And you know, I haven't thought of him in years. I haven't seen him since I left him. No, Papa, on les voir, please. since he left me. What finally happened was, well, I was pregnant, and I didn't exactly see myself as my mother. Maurice did, so. And once in Mama's last years, when she was not altogether lucid, I told her in a burst of anger that God was dead. And do you know what she did? She got down on her knees and prayed for his soul. God love her. If only we atheists had a set of words that meant as much as those three do. Oh, I was never a devout Catholic. My doubts about the faith began when I was 6. But when Marie died, I walked away from religion as fast as my mind would take me. Mama never forgave me, and I never forgave the church. But I learned to live with my anger, forgetting it, until she walked into my office, and every time I saw her again after that first lovely moment, I became more and more entranced.
Yes, Doctor?
Agnes, I want you to tell me how you feel about babies.
Oh. I don't like them. They frighten me. They're always growing, you see. I'm afraid they're going to keep growing and wriggle right out of my arms. They have a soft spot on the top of their head, and if you drop them there, they become stupid. That's where I was dropped. You see, I don't understand things.
Like what?
Like numbers. I don't understand where they're all heading. They keep counting and counting and counting and never reach the end.
Well, I don't understand them either. Do you think I was dropped on my head?
Oh, I hope not. It's a terrible thing, one of life's great tragedies, to be dropped on your head. There are other things, too. Not just numbers.
What things?
Everything. Sometimes I wake up and I just can't get hold of the world. It won't stop moving.
So what do?
I talk to God. He doesn't frighten me.
Is that why you're not?
I suppose so. I couldn't live without him.
But don't you think that God works through other religions and other ways of life?
I don't know.
Well, couldn't I talk to him?
You could try. I don't know if he'd listen to you.
Why not?
Because you don't listen to him.
Agnes, have you ever thought about leaving the convent for something else?
Oh, no, there's nothing else. Just being here makes me happy. It helps me sleep at night.
You have trouble sleeping?
I get headaches. Mummy did too. She'd lie in a dark room with a cloth over her eyes and tell me to go away. Oh, but she wasn't stupid. No, she was very smart. She knew all sorts of things. She knew things that nobody else knew.
Like what things?
The future. She knew what was going to happen to me, and that's why she locked me away. But I didn't mind. I didn't like school very much, and I liked being with Mummy. Oh, she would tell me all sorts of things. She knew I was going to enter the convent, and I did, and she even knew about this.
This?
This.
Me?
This.
Well, how did she know about this?
Somebody told her.
Who?
I don't know.
Agnes.
Don't laugh.
I promise I won't laugh.
An angel. When she was having one of her headaches before I was born.
Did your mother see angels often?
No. Only when she had her headaches, and even then not all punish me.
How did she punish you?
She punished me.
Agnes, did you love your mother?
Yes, yes.
Did you ever want to become a mother yourself?
Could never become a mother.
Why not?
Well, I don't think I'm old enough. And besides, I don't want a baby.
Why not?
I don't want one.
But if you did want one, how would you go about getting one?
I'd adopt it
Where would the adopted baby come from?
from an agency,
Before the agency,
from someone who didn't want a baby.
like you.
No, not like me.
How did your mother get you?
A mistake.
Is that what she told you?
A mistake. It was a mistake. You tried to get me to say that she was a bad woman and that she didn't love me and she didn't want me, but that is not true because she was a good woman and she did love me and she did want me. But that doesn't matter because you're only interested in the bad parts about her. All you're interested in is sickness.
Agnes, I cannot imagine that you know nothing about sex.
I can't help it.
That you
I'm
have
stupid.
no idea who the father of your
They
child
made
was.
it up.
You have no memory of your
It's
impregnation.
not my
And
fault.
that you don't believe you carried a
A
child.
mistake. It was a mistake.
The child?
Everything. None don't have children.
Agnes.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I know what you want. You want to take away God. You should be ashamed of yourself. They should lock you up. People like you.
You hate us, don't you?
What?
Nuns, you hate nuns.
I don't understand.
Catholicism then,
Well, I hate ignorance and stupidity.
and the Catholic Church.
I haven't said anything about this.
This is an individual you're dealing with, not an institution.
But the institution has a hell of a lot to do
Catholicism
with
is not on trial here. I want you to treat Agnes without religious prejudices or turn her case over to another psychiatrist.
How dare you march into my office and tell me how to run my
That's
affairs?
my affair too.
How dare you think I'm in a position to be
Only
badgered
requesting you to be fair.
or bullied or whatever it is that you think you're doing? Who the hell do you think you are? You walk in here expecting applause for the way you've treated this child,
It's not a child.
and she has a right to know that there is a world out there filled with people who do not believe in God and who are not any worse off than you. People who go through their entire lives without bending their knees once to anybody, and people who still fall in love and make babies and occasionally are very happy. She has a right to know that, but you and your church and your order have kept her ignorant.
You could hardly do that even if we wanted to.
Because ignorance is next to virginity, right? That's what you live by, poverty, chastity, and ignorance.
I'm not a virgin, doctor. I was married 23 years, 2 daughters. I even have grandchildren. Surprise? It might please you to know that I was a failure as a wife and mother, possibly because I protected my children from nothing, out of the womb and into the big bad world. They won't see me anymore. That's their revenge. They're both devout atheists. I think they tell their friends I've passed on. Oh, don't tell me, Dr. Freud. I'm making up for past mistakes.
You can help her.
I am.
No, you're shielding her. Let her face the big bad world.
Meaning you.
Yes, if that's what you think.
What good would that do? Whatever you decide is either the prison or the nut house, and the differences between them are pretty thin.
There's another choice.
What's that?
Acquittal. How? Innocence. Legal innocence. I'm sure that the judge would be happy for any reason to throw this case out.
What do you want?
Answers.
Ask.
When would Agnes have conceived the child?
About a year ago.
You don't remember anything unusual going on at the convent around that time?
Earthquakes?
Visitors?
Nothing. She was singing a lot more then.
Oh, dear God. What is it?
The sheets.
What about the sheets?
I should have known, oh dear God, I should have suspected something.
What are you talking
Her
about?
sheets. Her sheets disappeared. One of the sisters complained to me about it, so I called her in. Sister? Sister Margaret tells me you've been sleeping on a bare mattress. Is this true?
Yes, Mother.
Why?
Well, in medieval days, nuns and monks used to sleep in their coffins.
We are not in the Middle Ages, sister.
It made them holy.
It made them uncomfortable. If they didn't get a good night's sleep, I'm certain the next day they were cranky as mules.
Yes, Mother.
Sister, where are your sheets? Do you really believe that sleeping on a bare mattress is equivalent to sleeping in a coffin?
No,
Then tell me, where are your sheets?
I burned them.
Why?
They were stained.
Sister, how many times have I burned into your thick skull and the thick skulls of all your fellow novices? The menstruation is a perfectly natural process and nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes, Mother.
Say it.
It is a perfectly natural process and nothing to be ashamed of.
Mean it.
It is a perfectly...
Years ago, one of the sisters came to me in tears asking for comfort. Comfort because she was too old to have children. Not that she intended to. But every month, she'd been reminded of the possibility of motherhood. So dry your eyes, sister, and thank God he's filled you with that possibility.
It's not that.
What do you mean?
It's not my time of the month.
Should you see a doctor?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did wrong. I woke up this morning and there was blood on the sheets. I don't know why I should be punished.
For what?
I don't know.
Sister?
I don't know.
Agnes. Sing something, will you? With me? What's your favorite?
I don't know.
Virgin Mary had one son.
I don't know.
Oh, pretty little baby. Oh, pretty little baby. Glory be to the newborn King. Some call him Jesus, I think I'll call him Savior. Oh, oh, I think I'll call him Savior. Oh, I think I'll call him Savior. Glory be to the newborn King. Virgin Mary I sent her to her room. She was calm by then. Said it was nothing, didn't want to see a doctor. I should have known. No, what? That was the beginning. That was the night it happened. That's why she burned the sheets.
What else do you remember about that night?
I'm not certain what night it was.
Can you find out?
I keep a day book at the convent.
And can you check on any other unusual activities around that time? You know, earthquakes and visitors?
I'll look in the day book.
A psychiatrist and a nun died and went to heaven. At the pearly gates, St. Peter asked them to fill out an application, which they did. Upon looking at their papers, the saint said, "I see you were both born on the same day of the same year." "Yes," said the doctor. "And you have the same parents." "Yes," said the nun. "And so you're sisters." The nun smiled knowingly, but it was the doctor who answered, "Yes." "You must be twins," the saint said. "Oh no," the twins said, "we're not twins. Same birthday, same parents, sisters, but not twins." "Yes," they answered, and smiled. I found this riddle, casually and coincidentally, on page 33 of an ancient issue of a defunct magazine. By this time, I was convinced that Agnes was completely innocent. I had begun to believe that someone else had murdered her child. Who that person was and how I was to prove it were riddles of my own making that I alone could solve. But the only answer I could come up with was upside down on page 117. They were two of a set of triplets. My problem was twofold. I wanted to free Agnes, legally prove her innocence, and I wanted to make her well.
I'm not sick!
But you're troubled.
Because you keep reminding me if you go away, then I'll forget.
And you're unhappy.
Everybody's unhappy. You're unhappy, aren't you?
Agnes.
Aren't you?
Well, yes, sometimes.
Only you think you're lucky because you didn't have a mother who said things and did things to you that maybe weren't always nice. But that's what you think because you didn't know that she was a wonderful woman, a saint. But even if you did, it wouldn't matter because you think she was bad, don't you?
Agnes.
Answer me! You never answer me!
Yes, I do think your mother was wrong sometimes.
But that was because of me, because I was bad, not her!
What did you do?
I'm always bad!
What do you do?
No,
What do you do?
I breathe!
What did your mother do? You can tell me.
I can't.
Well, she's dead, isn't she?
Yes,
She can't hurt you anymore.
she can.
How?
She watches, she listens.
Agnes, I don't believe that. Tell me. I'll protect you from her.
She
Yes?
makes me take off my clothes and
Yes.
then she makes fun of me.
She tells you that you're ugly,
Yes,
and that you're stupid,
yes.
and that you're a mistake.
She says my whole body's a mistake.
Why?
Because she says if I don't watch out, I'll have a baby.
How does she know that?
Forget it.
Oh, yes.
And then she touches me.
Where?
Down there. With her cigarette. Don't touch me like that, Mommy! I'll be good! I won't be your bad baby anymore!
Agnes, Agnes, Agnes. Come here. I want you to do something for me, all right? I want you to pretend that I'm your mother. I know that your mother's dead and that you're all grown up now. Only I want you to pretend for a moment that your mother has come back and that I'm your mother, but this time, I want you to tell me what you feel.
I'm afraid.
Please. Let me help you. I want to help you.
All right.
Agnes, you're ugly. What did you say?
I don't know.
Of course you do. Agnes, you're ugly.
No, I'm not.
Are you pretty?
Yes.
Agnes, you're stupid.
No, I'm not.
Are you intelligent?
Yes, I am.
Agnes, you're a mistake!
I'm not a mistake! I'm here, aren't I? How can I be a mistake if I'm really here? God doesn't make mistakes. You're a mistake. I wish you were dead.
Okay, it's just pretend, right? Just pretend. Come here. Come here. Agnes, I'd like to ask your permission to do something. You can say no if you don't like my basket.
What?
Well, I'd like your permission to hypnotize you.
Why?
There are some things that you might be able to tell me under hypnosis that you're not able to otherwise.
Does Mother Miriam know about this?
Mother Miriam loves you very much, just as I love you, and
Do
I'm
you
sure
really
she
love
wouldn't
me?
object to anything.
Are you just saying that?
I really love you.
As much as Mother Miriam loves me?
As much as God loves you.
All right.
I brought the day book. Agnes, leave me alone. did you find?
What did you find?
Some facts about her mother.
She wasn't exactly the healthiest of women, was she?
You knew
Of
her.
course, I can't speak for her mental health. We corresponded before her death.
Well, how old was Agnes when her mother died?
17.
Why was she sent to you?
Her mother requested she be sent to us.
Why wasn't she sent to her next of kin?
She was. Agnes's mother was my younger sister.
You lied to me.
About what?
You said you never saw Agnes until she set foot in the convent.
I didn't. I was a good deal older than my sister. In fact, I was already married when she was born. She was the proverbial black sheep. Left home at a very early age, we lost touch with her. After my husband died and I entered the convent, she started writing to me again. She told me about Agnes and asked me to watch out for her if anything happened.
What about Agnes's father?
Could have been any one of a dozen men, from what my sister told me. She was afraid Agnes would follow in her footsteps. She did everything to prevent that.
By keeping her home from school
Yes.
and listening to angels.
She drank too much. That's what killed her.
Do you know what she did to Agnes?
I don't think I care. to
She
know.
molested her.
Oh, dear Jesus.
Yeah, there is more here than meets the eye, isn't there? Lots of dirty little secrets. Pull back the sheets and what do you find? A niece.
I didn't tell you because I didn't think it was important.
No, it only makes you doubly responsible, doesn't it? Blood runs thicker, right?
Had I known what Agnes was suffering, I would have taken care.
Didn't you know? My God, you knew she was keeping the child home from school. You knew she was an alcoholic.
I knew it after the fact.
And why didn't you do anything?
I don't know. I didn't know. That's no answer, is it?
What did you find in the daybook?
Agnes was sick. Sunday before she told me about the sheets. If she burned them then, they must have been unstained on Saturday night. Unfortunately, that night, one of our elder nuns died. I have no memory of any visitors to the convent. I was needed in the sick room.
Was extra unction given on that night?
Yes, of course.
So Father Marshall would have been present.
Yes, it cannot possibly think he had anything to do
Well,
with it.
somebody has to be responsible for that baby. If it wasn't Father Marshall, then who was it? No. We'll find out soon enough. I've gotten Agnes's permission to hypnotize her.
And my permission?
I don't think you have anything to say about it.
I'm her guardian.
She's 21 years old. She doesn't need a guardian.
But she must come to me first and ask my permission.
Does that mean you'll deny it?
Haven't decided that yet.
This woman's health is at stake
Her
here.
spiritual
I don't give a good goddamn about what you call her spiritual health.
I know you don't.
Sentence her to be done with it. Well, I can't do that yet.
We have a beautifully simple young woman,
An unhappy woman.
but she was happy with us, and she could go on being happy.
Then
If she were left alone,
why did you bother calling the police in the first place? Why not just throw the baby in the incinerator and be done with it?
because I'm a moral person, that's
Oh,
why.
bullshit! Bullshit yourself. The Catholic Church doesn't have a corner on morality, Mother.
Who said anything about the Catholic Church?
Well, you said that
There was a Catholic Church after the...
did nothing, absolutely nothing.
Oh, what have we done? to
Nothing.
you? I don't deny it. I can smell an ex-Catholic a mile away. So what do we do? Burn some heretics? Sell some indulgences? Those were the days when the church was a ruling body. We let governments do those things today.
Just because you don't have the power that you once had.
I'm not
doesn't mean-
interested in the church as power. I'm interested in simplicity and peace. I know it's difficult to find those things in any institution nowadays. So tell me, what did we do to you? We wanted your neck in the backseat of the car when you were 15, and you couldn't because it was a sin. So instead of questioning that one little rule,
It wasn't sex. It was a lot of things, but it wasn't sex. It started in the first grade, when my best friend was run over by a cement truck on her way to school. The nun said she died because she hadn't said her morning prayers.
stupid one.
Yeah. That's all. That's all? That's enough. She was a beautiful little girl, and to
What does that
explain
have
her
to
death
do
away
with
like that, she was Why is that so important to you, Mercy?
When I was a child, I used to speak with my guardian angel. Oh, I don't ask you to believe I heard loud, miraculous voices. But just as some children have invisible playmates, I had angelic conversations. Much like Agnes' mother, you might say, only I was much younger then, and I'm not Agnes' mother. Anyway, when I was 6, I stopped listening, and my angel stopped speaking. Just as the sailor remembers the sea, I remember that voice. I grew, fell in love, was married, widowed, joined a convent. And shortly after I was elected Mother Superior, I looked at myself one day, and I saw nothing but the survivor of an unhappy marriage, the mother of 2 angry daughters, and a nun who was certain of nothing. Not even of heaven, Dr. Lewis. Not even of God. And then, one evening, while walking in the field beside the convent wall, I heard a voice. And looking up, I saw one of our new postulants standing in a window singing. It was Agnes. And she was beautiful. And all my doubts about God and myself vanished in that one moment. I recognized the voice. Don't take it away from me again, Dr. Lewis. The years after 6 were very bleak.
My sister died in a convent. And it's her voice I hear. Does my smoking still bother you?
No, it just reminds me. Would you like one? Oh, I would love one, but no, thank you.
Once, years ago, at the beginning of the scare, I decided to stop. I had no idea how many cigarettes I smoked then, but I used a book of matches a day, so I came up with the ingenious idea of cutting back on matches. First a half a book, then a quarter of a book, and then down to 3 or 4, and look what happened. I can't even eat without a cigarette in my hand. I can't go to weddings or funerals, concerts, or plays. But some days I can go 14 hours on a single match. Remarkable, isn't it? Do you think that the saints would have smoked had tobacco been popular?
Undoubtedly. Oh, not the ascetics, of course, but Sir Thomas More.
Parliament.
Ignatius, I think, would have smoked candles and stubbed them out on soles of his feet. Of course, all the apostles.
And roll.
Yes, and even Christ would partake socially.
St. Peter, the original Marlborough man.
Mary Magdalene?
You've come a long way, baby.
St. Joan would chew the mail pouch.
And what do you suppose are today's saints smoking?
There are no saints today. Good people, yes, but extraordinary good people, those I'm afraid we are sorely lacking.
Do you believe they ever existed, these extraordinarily good people?
Yes, I do.
Would you like to become one?
To become. One is born a saint. Only no one is born a saint today. We've evolved too far. We're too complicated.
But you can try, can't you, to be good?
Oh, yes. But goodness has very little to do with it. Not all the saints were good. In fact, most of them were a little crazy. But their hearts were with God, left in his hands at birth, trailing clouds of glory. No more. We're born, we live, we die. Oh, occasionally one will appear among us, still attached to God, but we cut that cord very quickly. No freaks here. We're all solid, sensible men and women. Feet on the ground, money in the bank. Innocence trampled underfoot. Our minds are dissected, our bodies cut open. No soul here. Must have been a delusion. We look at the sky, out there. No heaven, no hell. Well, we're better off. Less disease, for one thing. No room for miracles. But oh my dear, how I miss the miracles.
Do you really believe miracles happen?
Of course I do. I believe in the miracle of the loaves and fishes 2,000 years ago as strongly as I would doubt it today. What we gained in logic, we lost in faith. We no longer have any sort of primitive wonder. Closest we get to a miracle today is in bed, and we give up everything for it, including those bits of light that might still have the smallest chance of clinging to our souls, reaching back to God.
The saints have lovers.
Oh yes, the saints had lovers, but then the cord was a rope, now it's a thread.
Do you really believe that Agnes is still attached to God?
Listen to her singing. Time to begin. Begin what?
The hypnotism? You still disapprove?
Would it stop you if I do?
No.
May I be present?